Today's conversation is so special. Welcome, Rajshri. Rajshri Deshpande, you are known for your work in leadership, social impact, systems change, and the Best Actress Award for your new Marathi film, Baapya.
Art is beautiful. Telling stories are beautiful because we are the people who are making people feel about life, feel about rage, about love, about grief. It is a very beautiful profession.
But the journey nobody has seen, right? For months, you don't get any money, you're rejected, you are not accepted also in the norm of being an actress.
It's like a सांप सीढ़ी का गेम है. तुम अब जब शुरू करोगे कब सीढ़ी मिलेगी तुमको बहुत ऊपर लेके जाएगी बट कब तुम्हारे जिंदगी में एक कोई तो ऐसा सांप आएगा जो तुम्हें पूरा नीचे लेके आएगा. In my villages, when I see a new school, when I see my children are happy, my farmers are sowing seeds, you won't believe it. I cried like buckets of tears.
Having bootstrapped a little NGO that I'm running, it's not easy. What are the challenges that you still face?
Huge challenge.
Huge challenges, I know. If your life was a movie, what scene would mark the beginning of your second act? Hi, I'm Archana Datta, and you are listening to the Second Act podcast. Stories of courage, reinvention, and art of starting all over again. This season is about incredible women who are rewriting the rules and building their own second acts on their own terms. Second Act was born from my own journey of stepping away after 28 years of my corporate life to rediscover who I was beyond this title. It's about creating spaces for potential and purpose that shows it's never too late to begin again. Through many interventions like workshops, retreats, and podcasts, I have only one intention: wake up. Life is passing by. Don't get stuck in the first act of life. Do something really amazing. Raise your voice, love yourself, and just show up. And today's conversation is so special because Rajshri was very generous to come on the podcast before. We had a lousy recording of that. And so we had to tell her to come all over again. It just shows how beautiful this person is who agreed with so much grace. And I am so grateful. So, welcome, Rajshri. Rajshri Deshpande, you are known for your work in leadership, social impact, systems change, and you draw immense inspiration from, of course, what brings and makes you the person, and you just give out so much inspiration. And the Best Actress Award for your new Marathi film, Baapya, which also you just took yesterday, you just told me. So amazing. Many congratulations for that. I know that it's a sensitive family drama. You were talking about it, so we want people who are listening to us know a little bit more about the movie, but just hang on for it. All I want to do is to give you a warm hug, a warm welcome, and say thank you with all my heart that you accepted, and you are such a wonderful person.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It means a lot to me, and I'm glad to be part of it again. And it's always nice to have a conversation.
Very sweet of you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So let's start with, of course, this movie first, then, okay? Because it's so fresh. And tell us, what is this movie about? What is this whole topic about? And how did it really play a role in your own life?
See, of course, this movie is very special, but it's the story of our households.
Oh, really?
It's a story about family. It's a story about love, relationship. The story is about, a transformation. A story about a woman going through kind of a claustrophobic situation that she's confused about her identity, and then how she takes a charge and then she decides to transform herself into another gender, a male gender. So it's a story about a trans man, along with, of course, a family dynamics, because such stories are not easy.
Yes.
But I'm glad that the story in the film tells you that when your family is with you, when the peers and when the society accepts you, then the journey will be a beautiful journey. And I really want such society to be there. It's like this set in a village, in a small town. So I feel, such stories are important, and such awareness is also important that, it's your life, it's your body, it's your decision what you want to do with that, how you want to do that with that. And when the family supports you with this journey, then it becomes worthwhile. So that's the reason I feel that, this character, though it was a very difficult character for me to portray on screen, but it's very special because, it just gives me, as an individual, feeling of freedom.
Wow. So tell me, I'm just intrigued to know what was your personal learning from this character? How did that evolve you? I'm sure that, we don't know this space. At least I would be very candid to say I don't know this space at all. So
Yeah.
what did you have to do? How did that evolve you? Did any shift in
No,
mindset change for you?
yeah. See, initially, of course, I was also not clueless. Like in Trial by Fire, I can think of me getting old.
Hmm.
I can always say that, that space I will be familiar very soon, or I am familiar now because, I've also gone through a journey of my life. But becoming a man, like going through that entire process of transition, the hormonal changes and everything, I won't be able to experience at
Hmm.
all. So for me, my friends from the community helped me a lot. And the moment I said yes to this project, my community friends jump in and they said, let's do it together. So of course, I've been part of the LGBTQIA plus community since many years now, almost 10 years. We all are a family together, including supporting Kashish since so many years. And the community, during COVID, we worked a lot with the on ground with community people, with Kinner, especially at that time. The entire journey of, how the hormonal changes happens, what kind of a mood swings are there, how will I see the world now as a character. So everything was guided by the community, and that's how I could actually portray him. So yeah, so I think the hats off and salute to all my friends who kind of guided me to this. And of course, the script itself was really interesting, and I'm glad that the director and the writer chose this as a very light-hearted thing. Otherwise, because we are
Hmm.
planning to release it in the cinema, and it has to reach out to the masses in a way. So you will go through, like, there are beautiful songs, there are beautiful narration, in a little humorous way also. The entire acceptance and the entire love, so it's not necessary that it has to be a very hard hitting, very serious kind of a drama. Even with the humor, even with the love, even with the compassion, you can tell the story. So I was really happy to watch the film on a big screen with so many audiences who were laughing, who were crying, so such stories are important, which will go to the common people. They have to understand what topic it is, they have to entertain themselves in that, and they have to come to the cinema and watch a film which is giving you a wholesome experience, and a story which is educating you also. Because this term, like, a lot of people actually don't know that there are, through transformation, you can actually, like, go through that, and you can actually change your gender in a way. And what are the challenges one can face, emotionally, mentally, physically.
A lot, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm so glad that you did it. And I'm so 100% sure that if you did it, you had to get the Best Actress award. So,
I'm so happy that it kind of,
yes, you're glowing.
celebrated.
You're looking wonderful. And so,
It's a oil in my hair.
this is the most beautiful, authentic Rajshri we would have ever got on a podcast. So, thank you. And this shows that we don't always have to be absolutely groomed. We need to be ourselves. And I'm so glad that you could be that person to show this way. And
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
also gives me the courage to sometimes say it's okay if you're not blow dried all the time. And if you're not, it's completely okay. That's all right. So tell me something, because this is a second act podcast. Second act is about giving yourself the permission to explore a part of you which you've not done before. You started your career with advertising, as I know. So, where was that phase in your life where probably some things that you were doing stopped giving you meaning? And then you didn't feel like that this is where you wanted to stay, and you gave yourself the permission to get into your second act.
Yeah, I think, see, when you follow a protocol of life, you are listening to more from the society than yourself.
Mm.
You're following their passion, their journey, their dream, meaning of life. That,
Mm.
okay, you have to be settled, you have to have a job, you have to earn money, you have to, have a life, you have to get married, you have to have children. So, all these are set rules from the society. So I lived my life till my advertising career that, okay, whatever was giving me money, or whatever was giving me a feeling of, okay, I have everything, I was following that. But of course, like, I think I was born as an artist. I was born as a, I think maybe when I was playing, I used to break the game and make the new game.
Oh, wow.
I
That,
was always, yeah, I was always, if we are playing a Gudda Gudya, maybe I always played a man in that, because I always wanted to kind of, change the rules, or even as a woman also, even if I'm doing that, then I was always like inventing new things in the game. So for me, deconstructing and building the life again it's not new. And I think I will keep doing that forever in my life, and I absolutely have no inhibition to go back to zero. So for me, the thrill and the curiosity is very important. And one fine day, I decided to just kind of say that, okay, I don't think so. I would like to continue what I'm doing, because this is not my path. And I moved to Bombay,
wow.
and
So,
here I am.
yeah, what really hit me was going back to zero. And, uncanny that it is, I was on somebody else's podcast just before this, and this is the same question he asked me about, like, how do you do it? And I said, probably I allowed myself to go back to unlearning everything that I did and start. But I know that it wasn't easy at all for me. And I know that every moment I was not able to do it. 100 times I was getting up and 1,000 times I was falling. How did you get to this space? Before even you got to your second act, you were already like preparing for it or something, I guess. How did you really become that person? I really am curious to know.
I don't know, I think, uh, sometimes you just, like, blindfold yourself and keep walking,
Hmm.
but when you take a pause or breathe, you think that you feel that there is something missing. I think it was there since my childhood. I wanted to do something, like, but there was a hurdles, like, if I was good at dancing or theater, it became a extracurricular activities, my family's. I was I was really good in my sports. I was a judo player. But again, it became too expensive for my family to support me through that. So, uh, but I always wanted to do
Hmm.
that. I wanted to excel in something which I was really fond of, be it sports, be it dancing, be it acting, I was interested. But, see, not necessarily that, because of the family dynamics and hurdles, I understand
Hmm.
where they come from. Even if they wanted to, I know that there is a limitation. So for me, getting out from there and, you know, standing up in front of my parents saying that, I will manage my life.
Hmm.
Like, you educated me till 10th, 12th grade now. Let me just do some part-time job to support my education. So for me, coming from a small town to like, a fairly a big space like Pune, was a challenge. So that courage I took to talk to my parents and say that, okay, can I build my life the way I want to now, from now onwards? But that building my life needed a financial support,
Right.
needed, for me to kind of step up and say that, okay, now, if you have to pay your food, if you have to pay your hostel fees, and if you have to manage certain things, you have to work. And no matter then whatever work you're going to get, you have to do it.
Mm.
Initial space of life in acting also doesn't pay you. You have to go through a lot of rejections. You will may have to work for peanuts, even if you will have to work for no money.
Mm.
So, for a youngster coming to a big town to follow their dreams is not easy. You have to support your basic financial, day-to-day life. So, for me, the immediate was advertising job, and that happened. But my dream was always there, that I want to push myself and do something which I genuinely love. So that's how it happened. It's not that the dream actually just happened like
I know.
at the end of my advertising. It was there since my childhood to to do something which I absolutely enjoy. And in that, I didn't want it to keep that thing. Like, do I have money? Do I have brilliant clothes to wear? No. Do I have a lavish home? No. Do I have cars which I like or jewelry I like? No, I never had that kind of thing. I wanted to just feel what it means to be on set in front of that camera. I enjoy the feeling of when, in my villages, when I see a new school, when I see my children are happy, my farmers are sowing seeds. When I look at them, you know, after this like recent water work when I look at them from a distance, and there are women sowing seeds and happily singing something, you won't believe it. I cried like buckets of
No.
tears. I got into the car and I just thought that, the water work which I did is
Yeah.
because of that, they're able to sow the seeds now. Because of that, they're singing. Because of that, their feet will have a less cracker. So it's just that feeling gives me so much meaning in my life that, nothing will give me that kind of a meaning. So, yeah, even like celebrating cinema,
Uh-huh.
like, yesterday I all my peers, everyone, like kind of, talking to me, telling me about film, about my character, about everything. And I felt, such conversation is so beautiful, Archana, when, the film reaches to their heart, the core, and the conversation goes on and on and on. It's not that, we saw something, well, done. I
Mm.
want people to go home with the film, with the thought, with the feeling of something nice, or something bad, or about, you know, I want that churning has to be there.
Yeah.
So that both the feelings are so beautiful.
Yeah, when we come to this point, when we have lived this life, it's so, amazing that how it pours out. But the journey nobody has seen, right? Which you explained that there are times that, for months you don't get any money, you're like, like pushed out, you're rejected, you are kind of, not accepted also in kind of like, the norm of being an actress or on stage. And I know that that must be so tough. But were there any times that you had to really keep explaining your choices, especially to the closest families, during such times? And how did you really navigate that?
No, I see. Initial period, it was difficult for me to explain it to my family, people around me. But then later on, they became my closest ally. Uh, uh, I think they have, because of them, I feel like, I have now more strength. But it took me years to make them understand my choices and, the way I see my work. The But I'm glad that their support, their love, and their strength is giving me more fuel to do more courageous parts, more risk taking things, and more work in my villages too, because managing both the world is not easy.
Of course
But
not. Oh my.
yeah, but because of their support, I think I'm able to kind of say that, okay, fine, at least I have a one less burden. Because the industry, the society will tear you down no matter who you have become. It's unfortunate that because I'm not the person, I don't want to explain it to people that okay, I have achieved this much. No, I feel I kind of want to be a compassionate and empathetic person everywhere. But the industry over here, or the society wants you to be constantly show them that you're like someone. If you come with an entourage, then people will believe that oh, you have achieved something. If you have a big car, if you have this, if you have that, that then only people will see you. I think that notion has to change.
It has.
That struggle will be there. I know that because that's the
But don't
path I
you feel
chose.
intimidated in that space, or did you never felt that maybe some peers, from the kind of people you were moving around with, were accumulating a lot of wealth, were like maybe getting the lead roles, and you chose, to step back and do something which was more purpose-led, which was more meaningful, and also support a community on the side. So, did that ever like say that? Are you on the right path? This is the norm of the industry, so you should follow that, but you're not. So tell me a little bit about that.
That's what happens, Archana. You feel anxiety, you feel nervousness, you feel failed many a times. You feel that you haven't achieved anything because the way the society will treat you. But I think my core is very calm.
Wow.
My foundation is very very centered. So no matter what happens, like even since Sacred Games was also a biggest hit,
Right.
but I think it's my foundation which takes me there. There is, of course, a part of my body thinks that ki, why, like you want me to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
But my foundation takes me to a right places. My foundation directs me to something which is more meaningful, and so I think I'm glad that no matter how one of my like subconscious space puts me down and shows me that am I a failure or something, but no, I think my consciousness always like directs me to take better decisions in my life.
Talk a little bit about your foundation. And I know that, having bootstrapped a little NGO that I'm running,
Mhm.
it's not easy. And you're doing something even more bigger, literally like helping communities to kind of like, rise. So tell me what is something that pulled you towards it? And then I want to know what are the challenges that you still face?
Huge challenge.
Huge challenges, I know.
Huge challenges is like getting right kind of a people on board. You know, uh, challenges is getting money from the right directions is difficult. Challenges is of course making people understand that this is like till the time you don't work on the core, on the roots, nothing will change. So because temporary and surface level work doesn't is not a sustainable work. You have to go on to the roots and start working on that direction. Like I work in the rural part of Marathwada. Marathwada is a drought area. When I see a village, I cannot just work on the drought because I cannot just work on the water. I need to work on everything, including the mindset of people, including the mindset of that entire society. So it has to be a holistic development. I cannot give them a product from one place to give them that, okay, and then that is not an NGO job. That is a corporate job. If like like now nowadays a lot of people give sanitary napkins, like to pick up from one company and distribute in the village.
Right.
That's not an NGO job at all. Then we should not call they should not call themselves as a non-profit. Non-profit is working for the people, changing their mindset, getting them together, making them a leader of their own places, empowering them with
Mm.
warmth and kindness and compassion, and make them so sustainable where they should not need anyone. I
So,
want them to be like that,
like a
but not.
sustainable community. Yeah.
Yeah, as a sustainable community, you have to teach them how to fish. You can't just keep giving them fish. और ये ना आदत हो जाती है फिर लोगों में कि हाँ ठीक है एनजीओ आप करा लो. मतलब I have built few schools, but my job doesn't end building four walls. Beautification is also a not job of a NGO.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I have built a school, I have to see that the school is running, the children are coming, there is joy in the school, there is art, craft, science, sports, robotics, you know, everything, music, theater is part of the school.
So if
That's how the school should be run.
So if anybody is listening to this podcast today and you want your voice to reach that right stakeholder, what is the message that you want to give? Because I'm going to promote this one very wide and far.
Of course, there is a CSR when it comes to a company stakeholders, which
Yeah.
they like kind of give it to the non-profit people, or even the common people who's like wants to donate a certain or contribute to certain things. Uh, Financial, of course, help. You have to understand when you're giving us even a rupee also where the money is going.
Sure.
Educate yourself. Everything is not just like a tons of paper. You have to understand that that money is going to help whom, what kind of a development it will be part of everything. So that's why, like, whenever you donate, that money has to go to the right people and the right work has to happen. Participate even in the designing certain things. If you have any skill, like a common man, if you have any skill, say that I would love to do this, be part of that. And just look back to your roots. Not necessary you have to work with me. I want people to work from where they have come from. There are people calling me from Rajasthan to Chhattisgarh to Kerala to Vizag to Karnataka and all these places. And I feel that you work. I'm here to guide you, but you work for your village. You work for your community where you are from. That really really important that you do something different than your regular day to day life. Empowering your community, your surroundings, or do something over there is also an important part. But just do it. Do something which will, uplift our society.
So, so what is the name of your foundation again? We will put it in the link so that people can really look at all the fantastic work that you have been doing.
My foundation name is Nabhangan. Nabha is sky,
Oh,
and Angan is courtyard. So basically, my work is not just for the soil of on this earth. It's even the sky, which is spreaded everywhere. So of course, it starts with Marathwada because that's what my roots are. But as an individual person, as a thing, I want to work everywhere in this world. So, yeah.
so I hope that people will hear this and read more about it and kind of collaborate to make it a bigger, better world with you. And like you said,
Absolutely.
if they are not able to do something with you, at least do something around you so that, there is one more person uplifted. This country really needs uh, a lot of upliftment, of course, and they
Absolutely.
happen when we have the resources and the intention to do it as well. So that's
Yeah. Thank you so much, Archana.
I really, from my heart, I wish more people really come around. Well, that's
No,
fine.
no, absolutely. I really need it. I really need more CSR support. I really need our government support. They should also start taking a right decisions, right team on board. We have so many policies, but unfortunately, that policies has not reached to the right people. So there has to be a good bridge between that. I want more and more foundation to come together because working individually doesn't make any sense. We want even the foundations to come together and say that, okay, I can bring you this expertise. You bring me that expertise. Because a lot of time it happens that as a single individual and a small NGO, it's difficult to like work on the other areas. So I definitely want more foundation to come forward, more CSR support if anyone have government support. I want because a lot of times there is a lost in translation in the bureaucracy, and then it becomes too difficult for a person like me to handle that thing. So if I get that kind of a support, say that, okay, um, we will give you this, you come up with this, CSR will come up with this, common man come up with this, then only a good work can happen. Everyone has to come together, every individual. So then only a good work will happen.
So lovely. From your life, I know this is not something that, in the fraternity that you're in, it's common to do. So you're doing something on the side which is very heartfelt. At the same time, there is something that you have to earn through your main role, your main jobs, so that also you can support it here. So there are lots of these young aspirants who are coming to Bombay every day in hope of doing something. What is that message you want to give to these people who are hoping and waiting and waiting and waiting? What is that message that should go out to them?
I think, being an actor is, of course, a courageous thing to do. But it's a beautiful profession. First, let me tell you all that it's a very beautiful profession. Art is beautiful. Telling stories are beautiful because we are the people who are making people feel about life, making them feel about anger, making them feel about rage, about, love, about grief, everything. We are making them feel about, who they are a lot of times, or in a fantasy world we are showing them which they can dream. So it is a very beautiful profession. So be part of it. Be part of art, any art, but be part of it. Every individual, not necessary if you're a doctor, that doesn't mean that you can't be part of it. You can be part of it. But educate yourself, learn the core, um, uh, you know, learn how the industry works. Support yourself. If you want to be part of this industry, you have to have a financial support. They make yourself so strong. Uh, then no, if nothing happens, you can support your basic day to day life, your family. Educate them about the industry and right industry. You have to tell them that this is what happens, this is how it happens. They will also support you better, uh, because when your core family is happy with you, I'm telling you, no money, no fame, no award can give you that kind of a happiness. When your own family loves you, tells you just even that thing that I'm proud of you. You feel that everything I have achieved. So make them understand that this is how your journey will be. There'll be challenges, there'll be problems, there'll be nervousness, there'll be anxiety. You'll be angry with people, you'll be angry with yourself. But it's a process. Learn to deal with all these things. Um, yeah, I think I've covered all of that.
Another
Uh,
thing I want to know is that, see, you probably have worked around to reach a level where you pick on those roles where you will say, it speaks to me, only then I do it. A lot
yeah.
of people don't have that choice. So, have you left something because you were on this path, or
Yeah, of
did this
course.
happen automatically and now the industry knows you for, certain.
Yeah, no, but I of course left many paths, and I chose my journey very wisely. And I think it did happen because maybe the people I met throughout this journey. When I moved from Pune to Bombay, and the kind of a literature, the kind of a cinema came into my life, the people came into my life, they taught me that this is the right kind of a cinema, and this is how you should feel. And then the society work which I was doing, I started with volunteering to a lot of causes in 2010. So for me, even the society changed me the way I look at art. So I started choosing the same kind of projects. Not necessarily that all projects were very good. There were some projects I did it, one day here, one day there, because of course I also have to support myself through financial spaces. So, and there was an anxiety that, oh, I left my corporate job and I'm earning nothing, because when you
Yes.
when you're starting up, then you don't get money. Everything is so it is important to kind of start seeing that where is less damage.
Got it.
You can at least be part of it, but
Hmm.
keep doing something. I also did odd jobs, like I assisted on sets, assisted on theater groups, assisted on advertising spaces. So I did that. So you have to you have to decide if you want to support yourself, get be part of any kind of art activities, but educate yourself that what you have to decide what you want to do, not necessarily that you have to be part of the independent cinema, you have to be part of something which has a social story. No, not necessary. You decide how you want. If you want a commercial space, work towards that. Decide how your journey will be. Jump onto those kind of things. There is a lot of people are designing themselves as a content creator, and they are making more money. So you decide how your path will be, but just don't get discouraged, because there'll be a lot of hurdles.
Yeah.
इट्स लाइक अ सांप सीढ़ी का गेम है ये. तुम अगर हाँ, मतलब तुम अब जब शुरू करोगे, कब सीढ़ी मिलेगी तुमको बहुत ऊपर लेके जाएगी, बट कब तुम्हारे जिंदगी में एक कोई तो ऐसा सांप आएगा जो तुम्हें पूरा नीचे लेके आएगा. तो तुम्हें जब वो करने के बाद जब तुम नीचे आओगे, और फिर वो गेम कंटिन्यू रखने में जो ताकत लगती है, उसको तुम्हें प्रिपेयर करना है. You will receive a ladder, maybe immediately in your career. But what happens after those 2, 3 projects when nothing happens?
Mm.
How you are keeping your mind and, strength and everything strong.
Yeah.
That is where तुम्हारा ये है. तो तुम उस सांप से मत डरना जो तुम्हें नीचे लेके आया है, या
Mm.
उस सीढ़ी से भी तुम एक्साइटेड मत होना. तुम्हें बस चलते जाना है. वो
But do you
बहुत
think that also
इम्पोर्टेंट
is
है.
a part of when you start getting towards that CD? Do you feel people then become completely like shut down, create a wall around them to say, like, I've arrived? Do you feel so?
No, see, it's their journey, right? If they think that they have arrived, they have arrived. You can't say anything on that. See, for me, if the success is about having entourage, or paparazzis around you, or having a lot of money, or fame, or if people know you on this thing, people are running at it. That's not arrived. We should not think in that way,
Airport look
because
arrived.
that will never be arrived.
I
You
think
know.
the airport look is the look that, says that you have arrived, and, there are camera people standing right at the airport, and so that's it. Okay,
Yeah,
so
but that's fine, because that's the way they look at life. Not necessarily I would like to look at my life like that. Of course, I like it when people say that, oh, your work was really good. We really liked that show. We really liked your this thing. I also feel good if someone comes to me, says that, and I want to take a picture. I like that.
of
But that should not go on to your head and say that I have arrived.
course.
No, it's a beautiful feeling when people appreciate you. They admire you for your work, for whatever you are doing.
Absolutely.
But there will be faceless, nameless people will pull you down.
Oh, yeah.
There'll be trolling
Not
which will
think
happen. You
there's
are constantly on the radar. There'll be some other things will happen. So then you have to make yourself stronger. Because one day there won't be any paparazzi. One day there won't be anyone to cover you. Nobody will call you and say that share something with me. Then that's a tricky
that, yeah.
area.
We all have to get there one day. So rather, create a second act for that, I would say. So this,
Yeah, I know. I'll tell you what, your second act is so beautiful, Archana, that, reinventing yourself, relearning what you have already learned,
absolutely.
because we keep forgetting why we had even started. So that core, we have to make it strong.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you if you had to define second act in your words, what would it be? But I think you
I think I've done
right now.
it.
So that's amazing. But do you still feel that second acts are to be chosen, or do you think that there is something around us which tells us that this is what is getting prepared for me? We can choose to look at it that time, or it can happen that sometimes the life only in self pushes us towards that. So, what do you think is the stronger one here? How is
I
the
think,
second act chosen?
yeah, I think Archana, life gives you those,
Nudges.
yeah, nudges that, do something. This is the time for you.
Right. We
That
can,
time, don't look away.
hmm,
Grab it. That
right.
time, just take that chance. Okay, let me just do something with it. If you then stop yourself and say that no, 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 that's not for me, and if you sacrifice your life over that, then then you'll have to wait for another uh, time when your mind is taking you there. But do it. I feel, and but see, actually, it's not even like uh, sometimes a person is not in a frame of space. Like a lot of my friends who are now supporting their family, who have children to look after to, who have parents to look after to, who have kind of taken that kind of financial this thing where they are not able to kind of now change things. So I do understand, and it's not necessary that you break everything and kind of jump into something unknown. You have to strategize sometimes. You have to understand that if there are so many people are dependent on you, then how will you kind of break it? That's where the planning comes in space. Maybe for me, I've always lived a life very minimalistic. So for me, not necessary that immediately after Sacred Games, with that popularity, I bought a new house and big house and taken a lot of loans and all. No, I again lived a very minimal life. After trial by fire, also I've lived minimal life. So for me, it's very important that if I'm going to walk on these paths, then how my financial spaces. It's very important that one has to understand कि अगर मुझे रिस्क लेनी है तो उसमें कोई इश्क नहीं है, उसमें बहुत स्ट्रैटेजी है, बहुत प्लानिंग है. सब सारी चीजें इश्क से नहीं हो पाएगी, उसको थोड़ा आपको प्लान करना पड़ेगा. इश्क तो होना ही चाहिए, मतलब वो है ना कि रिस्क नहीं, रिस्क लेना है तो इश्क होना है. इश्क तो होना ही चाहिए, इश्क से ही शुरुआत होती है. बट वो रिस्क लेने के लिए तुम्हें थोड़ा प्लानिंग करना
But
पड़ेगा,
tell
थोड़ा
me,
उसके बारे में सोचना पड़ेगा.
so, of course, to come to a second act of life, you have to have certain mindset. Mindset वो है कि which we have also understood, community में भी काम करो तो mindset shift करना कुछ आसान नहीं है. बहुत सारे, lots of women come to me for my coaching, etc. But when I want them to shift something, they just push back to say, नहीं, being miserable and in a comfortable zone is okay. But to change something totally together where many feathers will be ruffled, not okay.
Yeah,
So, what do you think really we should do to create this kind of a mindset to do something?
yeah. No, but for that, uh, as I told you, if I want to make a village better, I cannot just work on one area,
Hmm.
or I cannot just work on one family or one person. I have to work on the entire village. That's exactly life is. If a person has to do something or take any steps, then they have to go through, like how I can, what are the steps I have to take to reach this level,
Hmm.
and those steps one has to take it. Because I understand there are so many people are not able to take, like that drastic step. But don't take drastic step, take it slowly. It will take time. Like I, like a lot of times everyone, like I also do feel that I wish I was 20 when I came to Bombay. My my work would have been different at that. But no, fine, I'm absolutely okay. Like now I'm enjoying all the time. I'm being 40. I'm absolutely, fine. And I think maybe because my entire life, which I have lived till now, is the reason I'm a, like kind of, people are celebrating my work as an actor. So
Absolutely.
because of the life I lived, because the life I lived, I can portray those characters on screen. So, when
Yeah.
we look back, it's okay that life taught us something good, bad, ugly lessons. But now, from now onwards, try taking the right steps to reach that goal of yours. Because
Oh.
goal will also keep shifting, ना. आज मुझे ये चाहिए,
Hmm.
तो कल मुझे अगर वो मिल जाएगा, तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि परसों की जर्नी बंद होनी चाहिए.
सही बात.
क्योंकि कल तुम सोचोगे कि अच्छा मुझे और एक कुछ चाहिए. ये तो जर्नी है ना.
Hmm.
अराइव अभी हम कभी नहीं हो पाएंगे. टिल 80 पीपल, लाइक हम जब तक चलता रहे तब तक नया नया चीज सीखना पड़ेगा.
Hmm.
माय
बिल्कुल.
फादर
And
स्टार्टेड
so, ठीक है, we
डूइंग.
are living till 90s now, hundreds, like,
या
see, I don't know where life is going.
या
So, yeah, so better
my
we,
my father my father Archana started learning flute at the age of 75. He's
wow.
89 now. From past 10 12 years he's playing excellent flute. बट वो आज भी अपना किताब खोलते हैं, यूट्यूब उन्होंने चालू सीख लिया है, तो उसमें वो लगाते, या कोई भी गाना चलता है तो वो अपना उसका ट्यून बनाने की कोशिश में रहते. ही इज 89 year old.
So amazing.
सो वो अपने आप को वैसे बुक ये करते हैं. ही इज वेरी वेरी, लाइक कि वो जब वो अपना गाना सुन के वो ट्यून बना रहे हैं, वो अपने बिजी रहते हैं. फिर मतलब कुछ भी हो जाए, वो अपना रियाज नहीं छोड़ेंगे, वो अपना काम नहीं छोड़ेंगे. सो दैट डेडिकेशन वन हैज टू हैव, दैट लव हैज टू हैव.
Yeah. So what is that one thing that you have done recently which you hadn't done before?
आई थिंक
This movie, maybe, yeah. I mean,
या या
you played a
एब्सोल्युटली.
character
Yeah,
transgender.
yeah, this movie is there. I hadn't done before. I want to do it actually. I want to. I want to learn Shakespeare. I
Oh,
think I've yeah, I want to study Shakespeare because um, I want to study more classical, you know, things. Uh, yeah, that I want to do it. I don't know when I'll be able to do it, but I'll be in that process very soon. I want to, kind of venture, because I feel, we have such a beautiful world cinema. I want to reach there. Of
hmm.
course, last year, recent was my first film in LA, which I did with Suraj Sharma, the actor from Life of Pi. And that was my first union project in LA. So I want to do more international projects. I want to reach, like, of course, not to the soil of ours, what we have, but in the world cinema, because I want, to learn more from everywhere. And there is so much which is going on in the world where, like, Ireland actor is working in a Hollywood project, or American actor is working in an European project. A London is headlining a Netflix show. So why can't an Indian actor, an Asian actor, can be part of, or headline an international show? So I want to do that. That's something which I want to achieve. I hopefully soon, and which I don't know how and when, but I really want to do that because I want to be named with, a stalwart and inspiring actors like Meryl Streep or Viola Davis, or so many brilliant, brilliant actresses, Olivia Colman, Isabel Huppert, so many, my favorite, Sandra Muller. My God, like now, if you just see, look at the Oscar things, it's such beautiful, like, Jessie Buckley, like for Hamnet. I want to work with Chloe, who directed Hamnet and Nomadland. Such wonderful work is happening everywhere, and I want to be part of it. And for that, I want to prepare myself.
Good. And
So
I
I
think
really hope.
that's just what I loved. That first you manifest, this is where you want to go. And I love the second sentence when you said, and I want to work towards making it possible. I want to take action so that I'm prepared for it. I want to learn to be there standing right next to them. I think most of us understand manifest किया चलो भाई ओ मेरे को रिच बना दो करो बहुत सारा करोड़ों पैसे आ जाए and then we hope that some magic God will hear us.
Yeah, yeah,
But
I
now we, right?
know. Yeah,
If
I
you,
think the one person managed it very beautifully was Irfan Khan, and he really made all of us proud with his work. Oh my God, it was and a good work which everyone has celebrated. Like people over there in West also have that thing that oh my God, he's such a brilliant actor. So I want to represent myself as an actor over there in a way that people will be proud saying that, oh my God, she was part of that international project and she was so good in it. I want to reach that level. Golden Globe milna chahiye, Oscar milna chahiye. Matlab not as a this thing, Emmy milna chahiye, but you know,
Hmm.
सब जगह जाना चाहिए. I think it's a beautiful world and we should be part of every area.
So I want your message to go to women who are listening today, something from your life who are not sure what's the next step. What do you want to say to them?
I think, we all get confused with what's the next step. And
Yeah.
it's not necessary. Don't force yourself to, like, oh my God, I'm not able to think what my next step will be.
Hmm.
Go slowly. It's okay. It will take a little time, but it's okay to be confused. It's okay that even if you have taken a step and you feel fail, it's fine to be failure in that. Absolutely okay to get confused. Um, Absolutely fine if you're overwhelmed with that. Because with tension, you won't be able to achieve anything. With anxiety, you won't be able to achieve anything. You will go through it, but in all of that, find a calmness in you, find a joy. Because if you're not enjoying that work, and if you're doing it just because of the pressure of, oh, look, she did it, oh, look, he did it,
Comparison.
you
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
matlab, if she did it, that doesn't mean that you have to do it. No, are you happy doing what you're doing?
Yeah.
So find your peace and joy.
Hmm.
Uh, no, even if it's a smaller one, achievement should not be that. Yeah, achievement should be आज मैंने बहुत अच्छा खाना बनाया और मैंने खाया. Can be a smallest also. Achievement का कोई ये नहीं है.
As long as we
आज
are able to pat ourselves on the back and recognize that for ourselves, which we normally are
absolutely
conditioned not to do anyway. We take,
absolutely yeah.
whatever.
मेरे लिए तो कभी कभी ये होता है कि oh my God मैंने 7 घंटा सोई. That is an achievement for me.
Of
you
course.
know so
Yeah.
like or I'm like I got up with freshness. I made a beautiful coffee. I saw a beautiful sunrise. अचीवमेंट का कोई मोल ये नहीं है. कोई ये नहीं है कि ये करके ही आपको अचीवमेंट मिलेगा. बहुत पैसे कमा के और बहुत फेम करके या बहुत ज्यादा काम करके उसका अचीवमेंट का कोई मतलब एंड ही नहीं है ना.
Yeah.
पर तुमने आज उठ के like I just came back to my home and my home is surrounded by trees and I have a lot of sparrows. So for me, when I get up and I just look at the sparrows in my house, they just roam around in my house. Just that itself is a beautiful feeling I have that I achieved to give them a space in my house. And make them feel so comfortable that they just don't they have not bothered that I'm here. They enjoy their
Yeah.
freedom in my house. So that can be an achievement of the day.
Safe space that you create, imagine. So beautiful. Okay, so some second act questions coming your way. If your life was a movie, what scene would mark the beginning of your second act? Tough
uh,
question.
yeah, I know, tough one. Yeah.
Okay, चलो skip
uh,
करते हैं इसको दूसरा
yeah.
पूछते हैं. So
uh,
your second act was born from pain, purpose, or curiosity?
Curiosity.
Okay. So
What?
one word that comes to you when you hear the word second act.
I think there'll be many more acts in your life. uh, you know Keep taking them,
No,
even if it's a
what's
second act.
that one power word that comes to you when you hear second act?
I think strength,
Strength. Okay, great. So Rajshri, I think
courage. Courage, yeah.
Okay, that's great. Strength, courage, reinvention, unlearning.
Reinvention, unlearning, many things, yeah.
Very good, yeah. So I'm looking forward to build a beautiful relationship with you. You showed up so beautifully for me twice. I'm very indebted and honored because I feel I still have so many questions and so much more to know about you, but time is, not by our side because after 1 hour, they'll probably people will kind of sign off. So I don't want to extend it. Also, I want people to really hear us and your
No.
story. So next time you're in Delhi, please let's catch up and
Yes, 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 of course, of course. And I'm grateful to Abhishek, because he's such a strong support for me. And I think I'm glad because of Abhishek we both connected, and you know
there is.
this association stays for.
Yes, I'm also very indebted to him to introduce me to a beautiful you. And I'm building a community of second act for women. I'm also doing a retreat for them where I can help them to find their second act and to help to unmute, to, have a voice where they can actually say things that they probably are feeling or reinvent themselves in certain ways. So we do need stories like yours. And so, like, coming maybe, if you're in Delhi at that time, I would love that the community can meet you so thankful. And of course, the Second Act Awards will look forward to also honoring you in some way so that, I have another strong bond that we can create through that.
Absolutely, no problem. I would love to meet all your friends,
Thank
everyone over there.
all the
Yeah,
communities waiting. So thank you so much, Rajshri. And keep doing
thank you.
this amazing work. Keep putting your voice out and looking forward to releasing this podcast the soonest.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, my
All
dear.